And now we transition to the year in which possibly now we have a lot of heavy opinion here as we go to
Okay.
2001. But before we hit 2001, we're going to take a quick break. We'll build back with some heavy opinions on 2001. Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. You trying to get your platform to grow? So am I. And I want to help you out. Let's help each other out. I'm trying a new thing on my podcast and all of my weekly content. I have content Monday through Saturday on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, all kinds of different platforms, and I want to help you grow as well. So now, if you like, comment, subscribe on this video, or follow wherever you may be, you may get a shout out in one of my next projects. That's what I'm going to try to do for you because you're small-time creators just like me, and I want us both to grow. So like, comment, subscribe for more, follow wherever you can. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and I'll try to help you out as well by giving you a shout out. Let's go do this together. Thank you guys so much for listening to that message, watching that message. Go check it out for yourselves. We now enter 2001. To set the stage of 2001, the advent of our generation's probably favorite fantasy, or collectively the fantasy that captured everyone's imagination of our age group, begins on film with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, is released in 2001. You have utterly brilliant films like Spirited Away, Training Day, A Beautiful Mind, but then you're also getting a huge jump in quality of animation from more than just Disney with Shrek coming out, but you're also getting Monsters Inc., Atlantis, things of that nature, but you're getting a lot of really interesting movies to play with as well in the action genre. Also, shout out from our Dark Knight episode, Knight's Tale comes out, and the other fantasy epic that I think is far better than Harry Potter, sorry Dylan, also begins on film with Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring. Comes out in 2001. However, there are two movies that I want to talk about quick from 2001 because this is the era of they took some swings, and I could see why in 2001 they thought it was a good idea, that do not age well at all. Two very different films.
Is it going to be Dungeons and Dragons?
It's not Dungeons and Dragons, although that's
I
so
don't even
bad
know if that
known.
came out in
I
2001.
think it was 2000 or 2001, but
Okay.
that was I've never seen it. I just know it's an utter
It's
disaster.
awful.
Oh, you've watched it?
Yeah, it's garbage.
Shocking. However, 2001 gives us I Am Sam, which is nominated for some Oscars in this, but does not age well
No.
at all, and it is a man with a mental handicap or mental disabilities, and he has a daughter, and he's fighting for like sole custody of his daughter, and Sean Penn plays this mentally handicapped man, and it's such an over the top, very stereotypical almost portrayal of someone with a mental disability that you're just like, oh.
Yeah, I've never watched the full movie. I've only seen clips of Sean Penn's
It
acting.
looks cringe, man. You just cringe when you see it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Even
know
just
that.
from clips, I'm like,
Yeah, I
eee.
didn't. I've never seen the movie, but I just was introduced to this being a thing like maybe 4 months ago. I just saw something on like
Oh,
TikTok
okay.
or Instagram where like, how did someone let this movie get made? And I was like, it's Sean Penn. It can't be that bad. I was like, oh, it's really that bad. And it's also
Oh,
got
I'm fairly certain he was nominated for it.
he was, which hurts my feelings even more because
Yeah.
like, do we not see how this is in bad taste, guys? Plus, another movie in that realm of just bad taste that does not age well. Jack Black's Shallow Hal is introduced, in which
I like that movie at times.
the idea and the message is like, love someone for their inner beauty, love them for who they are. But it's like Gwyneth Paltrow in a fat suit, and it's just highly problematic, especially in the age we're in now, where we're finally coming around to just love who you are, love your own skin, improve what you feel you need to improve. But you don't need to shit on people for their physical condition and everything like that. And it's just a weird movie to have.
I don't think it's as problematic as people say.
I think
because I don't think their intentions were to be mean.
right. That's the thing. I think Shallow Hal, the idea is there. It's just there's some stuff in there where you're like, okay, but it's a comedy, so whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and then we also have a couple failed epics here in Pearl Harbor, Planet of the Apes, directed by Tim Burton. It's some interesting stuff here. So we're getting great epics, and we're getting some failed epics as well.
Yeah.
And also shout out to The Princess Diaries, because that's released in 2001. That really introduces the world to Anne Hathaway, and that's always a plus. So
I like that movie, that first one.
Princess Diaries is a good movie.
It's fun.
No one should shit on the original Princess Diaries. It's a really good movie.
Just a couple things about the ceremony. Best Supporting Actor was an upset. Everyone was expecting Ian McKellen. He was the heavy favorite to win. The Best Actor race was a huge upset. Everyone was pretty much saying it was Russell Crowe's Oscar to lose, pretty much.
Yeah.
Halle Berry winning Best Actress. The first and still the only black actress to win that award. She just said, I think this week or last week, she was just saying how crazy it is that still she's the only person who have done that. And then it's a really cool thing that this ceremony, Denzel won, Halle Berry won. Well, Denzel won his second Oscar. Halle Berry won, and then also on that same night, they gave an honorary award to Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing.
It's good to see at least finally some recognition is given.
Yeah, it's almost like that
it deserves.
It's almost like that day should have marked a more significant change, but it didn't. It would have been nice had that made a bigger impact than it did, but
right.
Nonetheless, it's still a nice thing to see that 3 people of such big importance got awards that day.
Yes, especially people of color that have that much of an impact on the film industry.
Yeah.
Especially Sidney Poitier. Jesus Christ. Talk about a goddamn trailblazer. When you're so good, you're so undeniable that in the 60s that they have to recognize you. It's like, yeah, like, come on.
Yes. When Jim Crow South, when you're successful in the South, like,
it says a lot about you. 2001 is definitely where I get the most opinionated, for sure. I will start with this right here. They completely fucked up the entire animated film category because they didn't even recognize Spirited Away in the correct year.
Yes.
Spirited Away is released in 2001 in July. It's not like it was close and we didn't catch it. And it was still released internationally in 2001.
The thing is, though, the Oscars have their specific rules that need to be met. So there are certain guidelines that if you don't meet them, they have to consider it the year after or the year before, whatever.
Yeah.
They have to be shown in specific
theaters
markets.
And enough theaters and everything like that. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why. But yeah, I get it.
It's so obnoxious.
I ran into that problem as well. I know.
And they clearly make up for it the next year because obviously. So I want to say this. I've seen clips of Spirited Away, but when
that was fantastic.
I honestly I think I'm gonna go turn it on when I'm editing this podcast to just be like, oh shit. Because I've been in this mood where I've never actually watched any Studio Ghibli movie ever all the way through. I've seen a lot of clips of them. I know the impact of them. It's one of those things in which if Spirited Away is hitting top 5 of the most important or best movies on a lot of lists of the entire century that we're in thus far, or of all of filmmaking, it's hitting top 5 lists there, and they're not like bullshit like, oh, I just love Studio Ghibli movies, it should probably tell you the quality of Spirited Away. So that's why it's like, come on.
I haven't seen enough of the Studio Ghibli movies. I've seen probably definitely less than half of them.
Yeah.
I've seen like the bigger ones, but yeah, Spirited Away is a masterpiece. There's no denying it.
So the fact that that doesn't even get nominated, granted, it's by technicality, I
Yeah,
guess,
it wins this next year.
which there was clearly a makeup award where they're like, it was going to win
Well,
last year, we're going to win it this year, kind of thing.
yeah, not a makeup award, just a technicality.
Yeah. And also, it's a movie that ages really well, and I think the animation deserves it. Another nom in animated film, I believe Atlantis deserves a nom for an animated film. I don't understand why there's only like
Sure.
2 or 3 nominees. It makes no sense to me.
That's how they did it at the beginning, yeah.
But Atlantis, The Lost Kingdom, is a phenomenal film. It's just a
They
great piece of
also-
animation.
They also, for some reason, I don't understand at all. A lot of the times they only have 3. Even nowadays, they still, a lot of times, only have 3 nominees for Best Makeup.
Makes no sense.
Don't know what that's about.
At
I
least
don't,
get it to
like-
5. At least get it to 5. Just
Like if you're gonna have 5 in every other category, there's enough movies out there that you can nominate. Like, I don't understand that at all.
right. And the other thing is, especially with something like animation, maybe back in the day you could argue not enough quality animation was being made to get
Sure.
there. But this is the turning of the age where the early 2000s is where that became the thing. Where studios were dying trying to get animation because they were getting those family audience dollars, which is why seemingly every 3 weeks now a new animated film is coming out. Because they are they are bankable like nobody's business because they get that family dollar to them.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand. I get it now thinking about the technicalities because I do know there are technicalities like you have to be shown in enough theaters, you need to be put in enough markets, blah 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 blah. I just thought middle of July there's no way they wouldn't hit that threshold. So I was like, come on.
Because I was looking up and I was like, oh wait, Spirited Away was 2001. Then I was like, no, I know that won Best Animated Feature. So I was like, what? How did that work out? So then when I went looking for it, that confused the hell out of me. But
Yeah, also when the competition in animated film is Shrek, very good movie. Monsters
Yes.
Inc., very good movie. And then Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius is nominated, which we love that movie, but I can't say it's great.
no, it's not.
Atlantis is a far better film than that. The animation's different and better
Sure.
from the computer animation standpoint in Jimmy Neutron. And like we still quote Jimmy Neutron. We still quote Jimmy Neutron. It's not as if I dislike Jimmy Neutron. I love that movie. But it's like, come on. Atlantis is a far better film.
I would agree. Atlantis does deserve a shout out.
Here is where I have no problem admitting this right now. I am going to sound like a total homer. But I do not care because I think I'm very justified in these opinions. Start with some of my critiques. Art direction. That is won by Moulin Rouge. There is a nominee that I think is far better, and that is Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Sure. Yep.
Also, I think Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone has a better art direction than Moulin Rouge.
Sure.
Moulin Rouge, I went back and saw more footage of it last night because I didn't want to just blindly go like, what? No.
Yeah.
My favorite didn't win? However, Moulin Rouge certainly feels like it got a lot of attention because it was classic Oscar bait musical, not because it was actually all that great.
Moulin Rouge is one of those weird movies that just like had this weird sweep of acclaim that just like really picked up steam.
And no one talks about it in a positive light anymore. Ever.
Or if they do, it's like they talk about like, yeah, it has a lot of good craft to it, but it's not like a great movie.
Right.
Because I do admit, like, there is a lot of good craft to it. Like, the art direction in Moulin Rouge is really nice.
I think it
And the
deserves to be
costumes-
nominated for sure.
Yeah, the costumes are great in it. I like Hugh McGregor and Nicole Kidman in it, but like, the movie itself isn't that great.
It's a Baz Luhrmann film. Of course, it's not that great.
Yes, very true.
I mean, Moulin Rouge completely ruined cinema for another 25 years because Baz Luhrmann is still getting work. So
I wouldn't go that far, but
I have not seen a single Baz Luhrmann film that I thought was good. I just see a lot of people that sign up for something that is unique and fun to work on, and it always ends up being so disappointing. And
yeah,
I look at it, it's the same thing. We talked about this in a private conversation yesterday, where sometimes when something's so bad, you deserve to lose your job over it. We were talking about that in terms of The Flash,
yeah,
in which if you're directing The Flash, you don't deserve future work. Sorry, Andy Machete, because I've liked another film of yours, but goddamn, The Flash is so bad you don't deserve to work on that level anymore.
hmm
Honestly, if to tie into the Far Out Football podcast, Baz Luhrmann is the kind of coach that always gets you to like 8-9, 9-8. Maybe you get one wild card appearance, but he just keeps hanging on, and you don't know why, and your team never gets any better, and they're just so frustratingly talented and can never get over the hump. That's Baz
yeah,
Luhrmann. That's the asshole that needs to get fired, and that motherfucker still keeps getting work.
true.
Do you have any takes on that topic of art direction? Because I have a lot of I have a lot of takes to talk about.
No, I mean, I actually have no technical changes at all this year, so you keep taking it away, whatever you got.
You'll be shocked. Costume design won by Moulin Rouge. I completely disagree with that one. I believe that should also be Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring.
No, I have Lord of the Rings as the winner costume design.
Official Oscar website says otherwise.
Huh? My book says Lord of the Rings.
Maybe the book knew that that was also a travesty of justice.
Let me get my iPad one sec. You said you're on the official Oscar site?
Yeah, Oscars.org.
Okay, I'll get a third source then,
Hell yeah.
and get my Wikipedia out, just so we can verify.
Get your Wikipedia resource.
Hey, Wikipedia is really good for the Oscars, actually.
Wikipedia is really good in a lot of ways. Just don't use it in an academic setting. But if you're just trying to learn shit, Wikipedia is by far the best thing to use.
Well, they just have like a really simple setup for the Oscars that I really love.
Yeah.
Costume?
Costume.
Okay, yeah, it is Moulin Rouge. I don't know why. Guess my book isn't the end all be all.
I definitely believe it should be Fellowship of the Ring over Moulin Rouge. Yep. I could see an argument for Sorcerer's Stone. From what I saw, I believe Moulin Rouge still deserves it over Sorcerer's Stone, but I don't think it deserves it over Fellowship of the Ring. Just the amount of costuming work done throughout that entire film, and is done with such artful craftsmanship, and it also tells the story of all these different peoples, is absurd. Costume design is certainly one that I'm like, what the fuck? And then, let me see what it is. Original song, all due respect to Randy Newman. I think that may it be from Fellowship of the Ring. I just think it...
Oh, I don't agree with that one.
I know that was the most controversial of my takes. Because I think May It Be fits the mold a little bit better for that one.
Hey, that was Randy Newman finally winning an Oscar.
I know he should.
Finally.
He should have won Oscars beforehand. So
yeah, I think I have it right here actually.
And then what do I have here?
15 musical nominations, and then he finally won for Best Original Song in 2001.
God damn. You thought he
deserved it.
He should have won in 95. Fuck. Like, come on.
No, that was Colors of the Wind.
I love Colors of the Wind. That's tough because I love Colors of the Wind so much.
Exactly.
And then writing, which is adapted screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
I could make an argument for Fellowship of the Ring, but I'm not gonna bitch as much because I think A Beautiful Mind is a phenomenal film. The writing is so well done. In which I think that one comes down to taste for me more so than it does.
if I were to make an argument about a technical category, that's the one I would change. Because I actually think I rewatched A Beautiful Mind, I think last year it was, and I thought it was not great. Like
Wow.
below average, I would say.
Wow. Okay, I didn't really touch it because I really enjoyed A Beautiful Mind when I watched it.
So did I. That's the thing is like I remember it being really good actually. Like I remember it being like a 7 in that range when I
Yeah.
first saw it. And then yeah, when I watched it again, I was like, man, I do not like this nearly as much as I thought I did.
Interesting.
That's always a shame when that happens, but
Well, it
sometimes
sucks.
it just
It sucks when you
doesn't
go
age
back and
well.
watch a movie and it just doesn't hold up for you.
Yeah,
It's such a shame because you remember all those awesome positive feelings that you had for something. And then when you go
yeah,
back, especially if you're trying to share it with people and you're getting
yeah,
their reaction plus you're getting your own, like you can't even get your own enjoyment again, it sucks. It's certainly a
yeah,
hard thing. I can make an argument for that one. I just think Fellowship of the Ring feels so overshadowed because people talk about Return of the King, because Return of the King is
yeah.
legitimately one of the greatest movies ever made.
Hmm.
So it's just it feels like Fellowship of the Ring should have been better and should have got more recognition than that.
Yeah. Oh,
It,
we'll be talking about it. Trust me.
so those are all the technical categories I have, and then we will, unless you have any more technical categories, we can go big six here.
Nope. Like I said, I didn't have any changes that I wrote down. If I did, it would have been the adapted screenplay one.
Okay, take it away.
So for the big six, you got director Ron Howard for A Beautiful Mind, actor Denzel Washington for Training Day, actress Halle Berry for Monsters Ball, supporting actor Jim Broadbent for Iris, supporting actress Jennifer Connelly for A Beautiful Mind. What are you changing?
I'm
I have
not.
three changes here.
I really like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. I just don't know if it.
Sure. He was the favorite, like I said.
I just don't know if I can give it over Denzel. Denzel in Training. I've never watched Training Day all the way through, and that's how I know that the performance is so impactful. That like it's just
He doesn't.
iconic. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm motherfucking King Kong. You're like, come
Yeah.
on, come on. It's Denzel as like a tour de force in that movie. So I could understand the argument for Russell Crowe. I think Russell Crowe is brilliant in A Beautiful Mind, but I think Denzel deserves that one. Uh, Supporting actor, ironically enough, is not one of the ones I gave to Fellowship of the Ring. Who wins supporting actor again?
Jim Broadbent for Iris.
Didn't know
Which
enough
is
about the performance.
it's a really weird win because it's like I don't I'm assuming no one expected him to win. Like the role is like kind of just like a everyday like nice grandpa kind of role. He's
Uh,
just like a genial kind of old man.
Gotcha.
And he's good in the movie, but he's not standout, I would say.
Okay.
And he's Jim Broadbent, so he's always good.
It's
But
yeah, it's Jim Broadbent. Come on now.
yeah,
But like people thought Ian McKellen was the favorite.
yes, he was the heavy favorite apparently,
I
which
mean,
makes sense because he's never won an Oscar.
and I mean Ian McKellen's been great in everything he's ever done. So
Yeah,
if there were an acting performance from Fellowship of the Ring, it would be Ian McKellen. I could also she's Kate Blanchett's not enough of the movie, but she does such a good job with Lady Galadriel that I'm like, it's my girl. Um, I've been in love with Kate Blanchett since the first time I saw Eyes on Her as
so you
Galadriel.
so you don't have any changes.
I don't have any changes in those ones. No, I don't have enough
Okay,
to argue them. That's kind of the thing. I have opinions,
okay.
but I just don't. I wouldn't
I
argue them.
I have three changes here. I would change director, like I said, I think A Beautiful Mind does not work as well as
Oh,
it used to for me.
I argued that one in my head. I didn't know if I could pull the trigger, but I would go with Peter Jackson if I had to.
That's what I would do as well. I think if you're going to award The Return of the King as much as you do, because people laud it as one of the best picture winners ever,
Rightfully so.
I think you have to reward the Fellowship of the Ring almost as much as that, because he's doing the same exact thing as he's doing in Return of the King.
Yeah.
Like, he's not doing anything differently. The story is different, sure, but the craft is the same.
Well, I think what's so impressive about, all due respect to any other property, it is hard pressed to find a work of fiction that is as dense as The Lord of the Rings. And to bring that to life in a way that is so easily understandable, but yet honors the legacy of everything that Tolkien does, is truly nothing short of pure cinematic brilliance. So yes, now that I'm thinking of it, just
and when
I didn't want to go so homerish. It was the things that I was like, come on. But I was like,
when you consider just the scope of the movie, like,
yes,
A Beautiful Mind is pretty much just a family drama.
it's
like,
a straightforward family drama.
Yeah, a drama at the end of the day is just a person struggling with mental illness. And then Lord of the Rings is like just about as big of an epic as you're gonna get ever. So the way he combines all the story of Lord of the Rings, it's easily one of the best epics you'll ever see. So yeah, I would have went Peter Jackson there. I would have changed supporting actor. Would have went Ian McKellen there.
Okay.
And then I also, this is controversial, would have went Elijah Wood as best actor
You would have for a nom or for a win?
for a win.
God damn. I mean, I think he deserves a nom. You'll see that you'll see that 2 years from now. For me, that I at least think some consideration should be made.
For some reason, I think Elijah Wood gets not overshadowed, but
he gets shit on for no reason.
He doesn't get.
He gets no recognition.
He gets
for that role.
Absolutely no credit for anything he does in that.
And he's the linchpin. He's the heartbeat of that film, specifically Fellowship. You know, Return of the King becomes far more of who is the lead in a lot of ways. Fellowship, that is Frodo's story, through and through. And
you can say, like, Denzel, yes, he's a scene stealer in Training Day. Like, he is charismatic as hell.
Yeah.
Of course, he's Denzel. But, like, the understatedness of Elijah Wood as Frodo, it's a quiet performance, but it still
speaks volumes.
It holds a lot of weight, and you can feel the weight of the pressure that he feels as the person who's responsible for the entire fate of the world.
Well, the craziest part about Fellowship of the Ring, or just the original Lord of the Rings trilogy in general, is it is not a shot-for-shot just adaptation of this book. They make a lot of really smart changes to allow the viewer to understand a lot more. You know, like, there is no eye-in-the-sky pillar Mordor, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a thing. It's just far more of his eyes are everywhere. He has spies everywhere. Giving that a physical representation allows the audience to really see it and give it a visual construction, which is great. It's the same thing with Frodo. When you take a character who, honestly, in the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring, the book is pretty fucking silly.
Yeah, sure.
and it gains more seriousness as it continues and goes forward. But I think you said it perfectly. To capture the weight of this character, in which he goes from, I live this idyllic life of, parties and beer and picnics, and I sit and read books by the tree, and I love my small town life. If you tell that story with somebody else in a modern piece where it's like, oh, small time country bumpkin has to travel the entire world to save it, immediately that gets way more attention. But because it's in this fantasy setting, Elijah Wood will never get the credit he deserves for the weight of that performance.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably the best portrayal of the reluctant hero you'll get in the fantasy genre.
Yeah. And their interpretation of Aragorn is far more reluctant hero, so Viggo's performance overall is also real fucking close in that, but it's amazing how much he's willing to do, and he keeps sacrificing more and more and more. And it comes through in the character. It comes through in the performance. It's not inherently just the character and him saying, "Oh, I'll do it because I have to." It's like you can see how much weight he has in it.
Speaking of Viggo, do you have any shout-outs you want to give?
2001, not at this point.
Okay.
It's
I wrote.
They're all great, so it's kind of hard. Sean Bean's performance is pretty rad.
I had down best supporting actor. I had a couple down. I had Sean Bean, Sean Astin, and Viggo Mortensen, and then I couldn't help myself. I had to write it down. Richard Harris in Harry Potter.
He deserves a nom for that. He deserves a shout out for that. I also think Robbie Coltrane in the original with Hagrid.
Sure.
I think he deserves a little bit of cred there. The other thing I could see is I'm a little shocked that there was it was really cultish at the time. Shout out, I like Jake Gyllenhaal and Donnie Darko a lot. I just think he has a very good performance in that. And that's another movie that I'm like, it's never going to get the credit it deserves critically. But wow.
Lupin's barking.
Yeah, I can tell. Lupin's having some fun today. He has opinions on Donnie Darko and Lord of the Rings being snubbed at the Oscars.
I guess so. Couple more shoutouts. Best actress, I had Nicole Kidman in The Others.
Okay.
She's great in that movie. Maribel Verdú in Y Tu Mamá También. Best actor, Diego Luna and Garcia Bernal in that movie as well.
Okay.
And then best director, Alfonso Cuarón, also for Y Tu Mamá También.
Okay. Very interesting.
Actual nominees for best picture, we got A Beautiful Mind as the winner. Gosford Park, In the Bedroom, The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and Moulin Rouge.
You'll be shocked what I tell you best picture to.
I'm sure we agree.
It's Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. The scope of that movie is so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And there is not a single thing that makes you question that film. It's a masterpiece. And the only reason it is not remembered as the crown jewel is because Return of the King is that fucking good. And it's wild. It's wild to think about that. Something that fucking good is the second best in this trilogy.
Yeah. That's true.
Like Two Towers, really, really good movie, and it looks like dog shit compared to the other two. That's how good these two are.
Yeah.
That's insane. It's insane to think about that shit.
Do you have any other changes to that at all?
I don't know enough about some of those films to do it. I'm a little shocked that Training Day wasn't included in that one. Just because of it.
In the bedroom's a weird outlier in that because it's like it's this pretty basic. That might be a Miramax movie again.
Oh, fucking course it is.
That strikes me as that it could be. Let me see here, see if it says it. Yeah, it is. It is a Miramax movie. It's just like a pretty basic family drama set up in New England.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember it being pretty much as basic as it gets. I had it down on my ratings as a 6, aka a movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Gosford Park is actually a lot of fun. It has like all the British actors you'll ever recognize in it.
Which I know you really love. That's one of your favorite things. You love getting the British actors.
It's a lot of fun. But I actually took out the bed in the bedroom and Moulin Rouge, and then I put in Mulholland Drive and E2 Mama Tambien. So those are changes I would make.
So a lot of changes in that category. New winner and 2 new nominees. It's pretty impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, The Fellowship of the Ring is a masterpiece that will never get the credit it deserves.
I'm assuming that's both our favorite movie.
You would be shocked to see that, yes.
Yeah.
I will say I would throw out an honorable mention for Donnie Darko. It's not a movie I've watched a lot. Every time I've ever watched it, I just think it's fucking brilliant. I love Donnie Darko.
Yeah, I've only seen it the one time.
I'm a little shocked that you didn't go Sorcerer's Stone as your favorite movie. You went Fellowship of the Ring.
It's because
Harry Potter means... Hold up your arm, please.
Well, I'll show off the ones that are immediately recognizable.
Yeah, not biased at all
Yeah.
towards Harry Potter over there.
Because I recognize that Sorcerer's Stone is not as good a film as Fellowship of the Ring. And I do love Lord of the Rings as well. So
you do. It's just your love for Harry Potter is one that... It's kind of like when... It's a similar reaction to if I don't pick a Batman movie and people were like, wait, what?
Yeah.
In 2000, like, that's how good I think Top Gun Maverick is in 2022, that I didn't pick the Batman as my favorite movie, and I fucking love the Batman, and I'm like, there's just something about Top Gun Maverick, man. It's so, that's why I'm like, I'm a little shocked you didn't go with Sorcerer's Stone.
It'd be like an 8.5 and an 8.49.
Okay. What would be your grade on Fellowship of the Ring?
I have it here. Let's see. So actually, I gave everything a 6.5 except Bedroom Window, which I gave a 6, and then I gave Fellowship of the Ring 8.5.
Okay.
So yeah.
What does it take? What does it take to get in the 9s with you, dude?
Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is a 9, and I know the only 10 I ever gave was Schindler's List.
Hard judging here. Jaws
got a 9.5. I know that.
You do love Jaws. You love yourself some Jaws.
Yeah. So very few movies get in that 9 range.
Okay. Fair enough as it is. Yeah, Fellowship of the Ring, phenomenal. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I'll give another shout out to Atlantis and Princess Diaries. They're just fun, good movies to watch. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. And I did love Rush Hour 2 a lot as a kid. Not so much as an adult, but loved it as a kid. Fun to get that Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker vibe in there. All right, we're going to transition to 2002. But before we do that, here's a message. Be right back for you.